Hi everyone, I'm with you, Pumbaa. The long-awaited third chapter of Poppy Playtime is scheduled only for the end of this year, but in this video we will look at things that may appear in the next part of the game. Unfortunately, we, to be honest, know quite a bit about the third chapter, and for the most part everything that we have is mere guesswork. Especially for this video, I have selected in my opinion the most interesting things that must be in the game. The kindergarten is one of the most mysterious places in the factory at the moment. We learned about it at the end of the second chapter, and in fact nothing is known about this completely new location. Only in the teaser of the third chapter, Elliot Ludwig introduces the player. This made us understand that the action of the new chapters will take place exactly in this place, which speaks of the great importance of kindergarten. However, this is now all known information. The question of the next enemy is rather curious. The first chapter is Huggy Wuggy. Initially, the character seemed scary, perhaps difficult for someone, but now, when we can already compare two parts of Poppy Playtime, the hags look too simple. And also take into account that in the whole game it occurs a couple of times. The second chapter is Mommy Long Legs. They worked it out much better, at least Mommy has dialogues. This already changes a lot, besides, there were much more meetings with her as she progressed. But something is still missing. There is not enough action, a little more chases, a little more attacks on the player, and more variety of screamers. We do not know who will be the next antagonist, but the developers clearly need to work on it even more. Make it scarier and stronger. The player is a completely unrevealed person. We only know that he is a former employee of the factory. Appearance signs, name, age, gender, etc. are hidden. Now the player is presented in the form of such a yellow mannequin. He was even released as a collectible figurine, and, of course, this is not a real appearance. In addition, we saw the player in the multiplayer trailer. But it still seems to me that in the original Poppy Playtime it is slightly different. Thanks to the official animations, we can hear the voice of our protagonist. Of course, his appearance is no different, but it is clear from his voice that he is a young guy. Yes, animation does not give any guarantees, but in any case, at least we have something. I hope in the third chapter the identity of the player will be at least partially revealed. One of the most mysterious characters in the entire game, little is known about the prototype, but even in this scenario, we saw part of his appearance. Robot arm with bones. A little creepy. Apparently, he will become the main antagonist of the entire game and will fully appear only in the finale. Also, we know that the prototype has a very high intelligence and it clearly has some kind of plan. It's not for nothing that he collects the remains of dead toys. In the third chapter, we must continue to reveal this character. We still have a lot of questions regarding the plot of Poppy Playtime. How were people turned into toys? Who exactly was converted? Why did we even go back to the factory? Where have all the employees gone? Who is the player? And many more questions. Of course, some of us are partially further answered, but this is not enough. In the third chapter, at least a couple, even minor secrets, should be fully disclosed, to keep the story moving.
Poppy doll is an interesting, but at the same time mysterious character. After the end of the first chapter, most thought that Poppy would become an antagonist, and the second chapter gave us a little surprise. It turned out that SHE is not evil at all, but on the contrary, SHE helps us a little, but already at the end of the second chapter, when we have to leave the factory, Poppy changes the direction of the train, saying that he cannot let us go because we are too perfect. Naturally, everyone knows the cut endings, where Poppy explains to us the reason for his actions, but we still do not understand what goals it pursues and how they treat the player. And, perhaps, at some point, SHU will really betray us, and me permanently. I hope the picture becomes clearer in the third chapter.
The new hand is more like a tradition. In each chapter, we have to change hands to get new functionality. For example, in the first chapter, our players' hands are as normal as possible, and yet they are the same. They can only perform standard functions such as dragging objects, and they can also be used to open doors and conduct electricity. In the second chapter, a new green hand appears, which has the ability to accumulate electricity in order to transfer it to different places. And what will happen in the third chapter, of course, we do not know. But there are a lot of concepts on YouTube. Fans came up with completely different hands with different functions. Therefore, in the next chapter I really want to see something new. New game mechanics, or chips, must be in the third chapter. For example, something related to the Great Pack, as it was in the second part. We were given the opportunity to fly over cliffs, and not only. The gas mask from the teaser, by the way, can also become a new feature. If it is an object, then we will put it on to hide from some kind of poisonous gas in certain places of the factory. And what do you expect from the new chapter of Poppy Playtime? Be sure to write your ideas, I will read with pleasure. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell not to miss interesting content.